What's up, guys? This is Bullby the Fell-Handed, and today we have a little bat chattery here for you. Haven't put up a bat chat game in quite a while. I'm going through my old footage. This is indeed old. If you check the after battle report in the top right hand corner, don't know exactly how old it is. I haven't looked myself, but I haven't ran the bat chat in a while. Not since, Type 59. Type 59 is Bay. Moving on. Now, I'm going left flank here. I typically go left flank. This is very, a very conducive area for me to do things in my medium tanks. Now, they did change it somewhat. They changed that this side just a bit to make it a little more hand-to-handy, if you know what that means. Kind of close quarters combat type of situation. If you are in a thin-skinned medium, you may want to be very careful. Of course, the thicker mediums don't really necessarily have the same issues that you will of all this close quarters combat. So, 6 one, half dozen the other. Just be careful if you come over here, because the Reds can get extremely close before you can get any decent shots unless you hit them as they come over the hill there. In order to do that, you kind of have to have some good spotting, because what happens is by the time your typical flat 400-meter tanks are going to see them, they're already going to be up over the hill and rolling. You need to have either your 410 tanks, your 420 if you're lucky, and BIA, recon, situational awareness, what have you, to kind of give you that boost. Anyway, so right now, not a lot's going on. I'm trying to take some shots here. I'm trying not to run through the clip too fast. I'm really just trying to make the best out of each shot. There's the issue about you have a full clip and you want to take every shot that you have, no matter how slim the chances. And the bottom line is that you need to take shots that are, you're pretty confident you're going to do something with. Now, of course, the RNG of this tank has its own devices. It's going to do what it needs to do. So very rarely, unless you are exceptionally close or there's not much cover in between, are you going to run 5 for 5. So 3 for 5 is a pretty good average. Occasionally you'll pull 5 for 5. Maybe, there's supers out there who run 5 for 5, 2 clips out of the rest of them in the game, but there's not very many. I'm moving on. Now, whenever you are reloading on this tank, you need to be advancing. This is scripture, unless you are engaged. Engaged means, this tank directly ahead of me here, where he's at. If I was in his position to my left there, I would not move up. Obviously, you move up anymore, you're going to be directly in. And another thing with this tank, it's all about timing. You need to know when to push, you need to know when to not push. And, I kind of spoke with my compadres here, and I said, as soon as I get this clip loaded, I'm pushing this hill here, and I'm going to kill everybody in sight. I'm going to empty the clip, and then I'll move on. We're going to do it again. So, you kind of use different tactics if you're by yourself versus, you have a squad with you. You have a squad with you, you're going to have a little bit of cohesion that you would not normally have if you were running solo. And granted, of course, I will have the appropriate number of solo videos out here for you guys, just to kind of give you the idea of what you need to do in a solo situation. You wouldn't necessarily be so aggressive, for one. If you're running in a squad, sorry. If you're running in a squad, you can be very aggressive. If everyone knows exactly what to do, you can go out there and you can make it happen, and you can do things and take large targets down on command. And that's more or less exactly what we're doing. We're working as a team. And, it takes practice, guys. It doesn't come overnight. You're not just going to find, 3-4 guys in pub matches and say, hey, let's go out here and let's start killing stuff. and you're not necessarily going to see this. So, and the thing is you may even find that when you get with some guys that you like and you get along good and so on and so forth, your stats may actually go down, because teamwork and individual play are two different things. And a lot of people have problems trying to switch gears, I guess, from going to teamwork to single. And if you have a really tight squad, you can do marvelous things. If it's just, you out there and you're trying to play as, one person part of the team, it may not work for you. A team is a team for a reason, if that makes sense. So, moving on, find some guys out there, you may even have your friends, and just keep running with them and communicate, and pretty soon you won't have to communicate. You'll automatically know what to do. If I get in here with my guys, we don't even ask which side we're going. We automatically know. If we're in different tanks, if we're in heavies, we automatically know where we're going. So you need to have that with your own group. And this, I'm kind of wanting to talk about team building, because you need to know, because just our unit took apart that whole little squad on the Reds' right hand flank down in the little dip there. So I just kind of want to pass the information along to you guys to maybe get you to figure out how to do this on your own. And it's not going to come overnight. It's going to take time. It's going to take practice. You can't build that camaraderie overnight. And it takes a lot for someone to rely on someone else's skills, if that makes sense. So, if you bend a corner and you say, okay, I got left, I got right, you may, not necessarily believe the guy has the left or whatever, or you may not believe in his abilities to kill what's over on the left, and what have you. So I've heard a lot of guys, and they say, boy, I've seen your videos, and I get in here, and solo I do okay, but when I get in here with my platoon mates, I suck so hard. And I tell them, I'm like, it's just going to take practice, because it happens. It happened to everybody. It happened to me. And years ago when I started, that's exactly what it was with me. I couldn't figure anything out when I was on the squad, but when I was solo, I did so well. And it's just, something gets lost in translation. That's the only way I can put it. That's the only way, I can lay it down to you. Something gets lost in translation, and in that, you just need practice, because that's what, the routine. Just keep running with these people, try new things. You always want to get better, and that's what we want to do with this game. You always want to get better. You always want to learn things. You always want to be a more efficient killer, if that, puts it out there for you. Whatever it takes, you need to go out here and you need to do these things, and you just need to get your tank game stronger, if that makes any sense. And in that means, your single individual work as well as your platoon work, because nobody's not necessarily going to want to platoon with you if you can't carry your own weight. I'm not necessarily, trying to be a Debbie Downer, but, it's a skill, it's a viable skill that you need to have if you are taking this game seriously, if that makes sense. You need to be able to do things and put in work on your own with little to no instruction. And like I said, we don't all start there. You have to start somewhere. We all have to start at the bottom. Some of us are lucky enough to start from the top or the mid, because we've played games like this. We've played, people who played COD, people who played, WoT on PC and what have you. I was one of the unlucky ones. This is actually my first online game ever. Yes, try not to faint. So, you know, if you've played other games, you will already have a certain skill set. If you played online games, let me be specific, PvP, you're already going to have a certain skill set, and you can develop that skill set to World of Tanks with little or no, little or no trouble, I guess is what I'm saying, because World of Tanks is essentially a slow-paced COD. And that's exactly what they wanted it to be. They wanted it to be not quite such a breakneck speed shooter. And that's more or less what it is with Cold World War II, post-World War II tanks. Now moving on, I'm getting a little too much into the teamwork here. I wanted to touch on it for a moment, but I can't exactly put into one game how you and your team need to act. Moving on. So, there's one guy left here, and we've got him outnumbered. We just need to get in there. We need to get the gun to bear on him, and we need to just clip him out, if possible, without dying. And that's essentially the entire goal of this game, is to hurt people without getting hurt back. So we're rolling on him right here, and you know, the Bat-Chan is much like a light tank. You want to move in when somebody is occupied. I bounced one or missed one, and then bounced the second and made the third one go in, earning me a Fadden's medal for killing the last tank on the board with the last shell. 6550, 1464 assist. Good game all around. Guys, please remember to like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you guys next time.